The list of Trump supporting celebrities and rich people continued. I got through Dana White, Roseanne, Scott Baio, Dennis Quaid, and his brother Randy Quaid, that nobody cares about, Ted Nugent, and John Voight, saying, what's her name? Angelina Jolie should talk to her dad, John Voight, instead of running around talking to African kids in poverty, because we wouldn't have less of anybody in poverty if we could get rid of these damn Nazis like her dad. Kirstie Alley is a Nazi. That's too bad. I enjoyed her on Cheers, but thankfully she hasn't done anything since then. Maybe because she's a Nazi. James Woods is a Nazi, Trump supporter. He seems to be working somewhat. Let's stop that. And again, these people don't need to work at McDonald's. They need to be home on welfare or in jail for supporting terrorism, but they need to be suffering the consequences of what they tried to make so bad for everybody else. Then they wouldn't want welfare, because that's the only way they're going to be allowed to live. Stacey Dash. You know, they said she's most famous for Clueless, which is still 20 years old. Hopefully it will never work again. But she's still working. She's one of these black people who's going to get funded by the Nazis for being their little choice hire trader. Willie Robertson is Duck Dynasty. So when I said earlier that a quarter of the actual celebrities, people that anyone's actually heard of on this list, are like from UFC. Well, Duck Dynasty is their own little redneck reality TV show. So they, create these people in order to have more supporters. Dean Cain was a star of Lois and some Superman show that hasn't been on, I don't think, for a while. And, probably is Abel's brother, traitor, Nazi. Dean Cain, hey, well, guess what? You're a Nazi. If there's anything we can do to make you feel bad for who you are and the choices you made, we'll work it out. Kid Rock, this was the best. This should make you feel bad. Perhaps behind Ted Nugent, no musician has been more supportive of Trump than Kid Rock. Now, maybe Ted Nugent and Kid Rock are just super supportive. I noticed after going through this entire list that they left Kanye West off the list. Now, Kanye West, maybe you don't support Trump anymore, but you did. And you haven't given every dime you have to make up for that sin. And that's what you got to do. Sorry, you haven't gone anywhere. What did you do? You ran for president to siphon off some votes, maybe, to give Trump a better chance, maybe? Like, no. You might have disavowed your Trump support, Kanye West. You didn't make the list, but I think that's definition.org dropping the ball, because you should have made the list. We should always remember that Kanye West is probably more famous than Ted Nugent and Kid Rock. Sorry, racist writer of definition.org. But Kanye West is a musician, and unfortunately, Lil Wayne supported Trump and is also a musician. And let's be real, is Lil Wayne perhaps... Well, maybe he hasn't been more supportive than Kid Rock. Maybe Kid Rock has been more supportive. Maybe Ted Nugent and Kid Rock have been more supportive. They're not more rock stars. They're not more musicians. Something about that statement seemed to suggest that Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, these rappers who support Trump are not musicians. But, that's just racism. Kid Rock supports Trump. Another UFC fighter, Colby Covington. And another one later on, Conor McGregor. Go ahead and throw them both in there. But again, just boycott UFC. Just quit it. Although it is nice that the Bernie supporting guy knocked that guy out and posted about how he knocked the Trumper out, and everybody made some good memes about it. But again, if Dana White and the other guy are making money off this, then you got to boycott. That's all there is to it. Mariano Rivera, old baseball player. I don't know what you do to him. Just talk bad about him, I guess. Ed and Linda McMahon. Again, UFC. Boycott it. Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta. So from here on out, the list gets into just financiers and stuff. People have already sold their companies, so you can't boycott them. But what you can do is seize all their assets. You can say, look, you supported a terrorist. We're seizing all your assets. That's what you do. You do that to people who support ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So you can do it here, because we have terrorists here. Trump is a terrorist, a Nazi. Let's go ahead and make the charges fit, and you can seize all their assets. Stephen Baldwin. You can't say it better than The Simpsons said it. You might as well not even have a Baldwin. Robert Davi, who was an actor. He's most famous for The Goonies 40 years ago and is whining about how nobody hires him for his political beliefs. Maybe change your political beliefs or get a real industry where it's okay. But he also mentioned, I didn't read a whole lot of these, the key grips and sound guys are 95% for Trump. Now, I know they got their union or whatever, But maybe it's time to get rid of all those key grips and sound guys, because somebody else can do that job who's not for Trump. You see how this works? If you're a terrorist supporter, you don't deserve support. So yeah, let's get if he's right, let's find out which of these key grips and sound guys do support Trump, and let's get rid of all of them, because people who aren't Nazis would like those jobs. 50 Cent, unfortunate, Lil Pump and Lil Wayne, and it's like both of their quotes were, "I saw Biden's tax plan." So you're being paid to be a Nazi. Hope you're proud of that in hell. Rick Harrison, again, then it goes to these people that no one's ever heard of before. Rick Harrison did Pawn Stars, so don't watch Pawn Stars or don't pawn stuff to him or whatever. But again, we should shame these people to where no one gives them anything except for, what they're due out of welfare. And then they can realize that welfare is good. People need it. Charles Dolan ran AMC, or still has a stake in AMC, so if we can stop watching any AMC content until they get rid of him, until they buy him out so that he doesn't profit from it. That's one way to do this. Ronald Perlman, Tillman Fertitta, Stephen Wynn. Okay, so Stephen Wynn has a real estate page called Real Page. Boycott Real Page. There's going to be plenty of other better online real estate options, so make sure Real Page doesn't exist anymore and we cut his. But again, all these people you can't boycott out of their billions because they've already got the billions. Seize it. Just take it. Take the bank account. Take the property. Ronald Wanek, a furniture magnate. Charles Simonyi. Okay, so this guy's still getting paid from Microsoft because he invented Word. We can't make a different word now and cut him out? But again, seize all this. Just seize it. Just seize it. He's worth, 4 billion? 14 billion? Something like that. Just seize it. Take it. Because he supported a terrorist. This is the message we need to send to people. Do not support a terrorist. And you got the laws. You can seize people's houses, property, whatever. You can arrest people for giving $5 to what they think is a good Islamic charity that turns out to pass the money on to ISIS. They do that. They arrest people for that. So when these people are giving hundreds of thousands to a terrorist, to a Nazi, Trump, and we can get all the information out about how he's a terrorist and Nazi in their trials, but most of us know. Joe Limond and Trilogy, Ronald Lauder, Estee Lauder. So Estee Lauder, cut it out. No Estee Lauder products. We need a worldwide boycott of Estee Lauder until this guy's divested from the company. So he can't make anything from it. He's the son of the whatever. You should have raised your kid better. Ken Fisher Investments and books. So if this guy's got books on bookstores, we can call the bookstores and say, look, you're selling this guy's books. We want this Nazi propaganda out of local bookstores, or you're going to have pickets. But again, seize their property. It's nice for the people to get involved, but the government can get involved and just seize all their property. Peter Thiel, PayPal, and Facebook. PayPal, I guess we're stuck with, or he sold it, so it's not hurting him if we stop using PayPal. But Facebook should be shut down. I've got to make whole videos about this, but Facebook made all these fake profiles to spread the virus, to make sure people were trying to deny masks and all this stuff. Facebook is very in with Trump and the genocide that he committed on America. So Zuckerberg needs to be in jail for genocide, and for all the Facebook stuff, all Zuckerberg's property needs to be seized. This guy, Peter Thiel, his property needs to be seized as well. Stuart Rahr, Thomas Petterfly, Ferris Wicks, Fractech. Ferris Wicks has the biggest fracking company. Fracking needs to be shut down entirely. This guy should be in jail as an environmental terrorist in addition to a Trump terrorist. John Paulson. Kelsey Warren. He's the oil guy that's doing the Dakota Access Pipeline. So people have been kind of aware of him. He's kind of a celebrity supervillain. And Ike Perlmutter, who I wonder if is related to our Congressman Ed Perlmutter here. Again, he seems like a financier or something. Made a bunch of money selling something. The list goes on with some more of these financiers. I just didn't bother listing them here. But the people you've heard of before, most of the people you've heard of before, I did mention. And I just thought it was interesting that Kanye West was not on the list. You don't support Trump and get away with it. That's never a stain that comes off. Okay? It's like, I was a Nazi for a little while. I only gassed so many hundreds of people. No, It's not forgiven. You guys killed so far 400,000 Americans. You did a lot of other stuff too. But like you killed 400,000 Americans and like millions of people worldwide who wouldn't have died if we'd just been responsible in America, but you chose a Nazi genocide path. And deciding against it is good. Decide against it as soon as you can, but then you better put the full force of the rest of your life to making up for your mistakes. Kanye West, glad you're getting divorced. Hope she gets most of your assets so you can't give them to Trump or be a jerk anymore. But what you got left, turn it around. Give it to the people that you hurt by supporting Hitler too. And all you people, you're all Nazis. Let's call you what you are and let's get you arrested and get all your property back into the common good.